Hey friends, it's Elizabeth here from the Everyday Storyteller, and I am here with my very first process video for 2022. So today I'm going to be working with the Begin Story Kit by Ali Edwards. This is the January story kit that I just got in the mail. As you can see, I have it in this handy dandy 12 by 12 tray. This is from Target and it's literally been a game changer. I have all of my kit contents that I'm working on here at my desk and everything is organized and where I can see it, and it works perfectly. I will definitely link this for you guys down below if I can still find it on their website. I also found this little tray where I can put all of my embellishments, and that works really well too. So for this layout, I'm going to be working in my 10 by 8 album. This was originally a release for the December Daily collection by Ali, but I have decided to use this album for my project life for 2022, and I'm really excited to start working a little bit more out of the page protectors and with a bunch of different sizes, not just 10 by 8, but also 6 by 8 and 3 by 8 as well, and to include all of those things in my album. So let's get started working on the title page. All right, so I'm going to be starting off with this Beginnings pattern paper. This is a new addition to the Ali Edwards story kits, having pattern paper in 6 by 8 and 3 by 8 sizes. And I'm actually going to be using both the digital and the physical versions of this pattern paper. As you can see, I cut out some circles as well as that 2022 word art. The 2022 is from the January Stories by the Month subscription that Ali started this year, and I just sized it to fit in between those circles. And now I am going to cut out my photos and my journaling. So the journaling just says our names and ages, one memory that we loved from last year, 2021, and then something that we are looking forward to doing this year. So that was really fun. My daughter said she wanted to learn how to dance. So that was a really fun thing to add into my album to start things off. As you can see, I'm only cutting out 2 pieces of journaling because I am still waiting on my husband to complete the prompts. My original idea was that these circles would be kind of like revolving embellishments. So they would be hung by a string, and then you could turn them so you could see the photo and then the journaling without actually having to turn the page, if that makes sense. This was an idea that I saw Pam Baldwin do way back when in the very first December Daily product play. But I ended up changing my mind, mostly because I was already going to use transparency to back the 2022 word art. So at this point, I really wasn't loving the way that the 2022 looked on my page. Even with the negative filled in, it just kind of looked bland, and it wasn't really the pop that I was going for on this layout. So I went back to my silhouette and cut out a couple more of the 2022s, and as you can see, I'm having a little bit of a hard time getting them out of the negative here. But once I do, I am going to take all 4 of those that I printed out, and I'm going to adhere them together using some Tombow Mono Aqua Liquid Glue. So this was kind of a finicky process, but it definitely was worth it because I love the way that it gives it kind of like a chipboard look. So while I'm doing that, I thought I would talk a little bit about my hope for my memory keeping journey this year. So as I already mentioned, I am planning on doing my Project Life album in a 10 by 8. That size is new this year. It came out for December Daily, and even though I didn't use it for December Daily, I was really excited to try it for Project Life. If you follow Lisa Varshine, which if you don't, you totally should, she did a lot of really fun layouts using the 10 by 8 album, and I love the versatility that it gives. You can add 6 by 8s, you can add 3 by 8s, you can add all of that into a 10 by 8 album, and I really want to explore more this year with creating things out of the page protectors. Previously, all of my Project Life albums have been very much in page protectors with not a lot of size differentiation, so I wanted to try something a little bit more creative and a little bit new this year, and I'm really excited for at least how the title page is going. My goal is to have just one 10 by 8 album for the entire year. We'll see how that goes. But I do plan on doing my memory keeping monthly as opposed to weekly. So I think that will help keep a little bit of the bulk down. And also I will not be including December in this 10 by 8 album since I do a regular December daily. So here I am just showing you how thick my faux chipboard is. I decided to add one other 2022 piece, And as you can see, there are quite a few parts of those numbers that are very thin, especially that curly Q on the first two. So you had to be a little bit careful there attaching everything together, but it ended up being fine. I did check to see if I wanted to keep that negative part of the 2022 blank or if I wanted to fill it in with that Blue Beginnings paper, and I decided to just leave it blank so that you can see through it a little bit. The transparency that I'm using is from Amazon, and I will definitely link that below. It's not a printing transparency, so you wouldn't be able to like print on it with your laser or your inkjet printer, but it is a little bit thicker, so it works really well for backing things like this. The pattern paper that's included in the new story kits is not what I would consider like super thin, but I definitely recommend using a heavier weight of transparency to back such a fragile cut file like this one. It has a lot of space that's been cut out, so I felt comfortable using a heavier weight of transparency. So here I am just adhering all of my circles, my photos and my journaling into my transparent circles. I'm just adhering that on either side of the transparency piece. As you can see, I flubbed up a teeny bit on the back of my husband's photo. I wanted to add my journaling to that because I forgot that I hadn't printed out his yet. So I am using just a little bit of tissue paper to keep that from being super sticky. So now that I have my journaling and my photos all attached, I am going to be working on adding some embellishments to that last transparent circle. So I'm just looking through the Begin Story Kit for some word phrases and also some circular embellishments to add to the front of my layout. I am going to end up going with that Fresh New Start fabric circle for the front of my page. And then I looked through some of my January Stories by the Month kits and landed on this very large chipboard piece that said saying goodbye and saying hello. I looked through a lot of chipboard on my way to getting this one, but I do end up returning back to the one from the January Stories by the Month kit. I believe that's from 2018 or 2019, one of those. But I just add that with some regular adhesive to the top of my 2022. And now I'm going to work on the back side of my page. So to create the backing of this title page, I'm going to be using a digital version of the Beginnings pattern paper. And what I'm going to be showing you here in this next little bit is not what I end up keeping. So I tried to create my own cut file using the negative circles that I had used on the front side of my page. That just didn't end up working very well, so I just went back to my silhouette and reversed my design so that my silhouette cut the reverse of what it had cut for the front side. You'll see what I mean in a second here when you see the finished layout. But this is a way that you could kind of mimic the style of this page. You could cut out your own circles. Obviously, it would be a little bit tricky to fussy cut the 2022, but it is definitely doable if you print it. All right, so here is a look at the finished layout. I really love how this title page came out. I hope you can see how I made my own faux chipboard right there. It's really fun, it's really interactive, and I really love how it turned out. I still have one more piece of journaling to fill out for my husband here on the opposite side, but other than that, this layout is complete and ready to go in my album.